G'day team, my name is Josh Atkins. I am the S&C coach for QC, and today we're going to be going through the Senior State Age preseason program. So we've developed this program to basically do exactly what it says. We're trying to build the girls up for getting started when SSA training starts in, late January. So we've designed this program here and we're going to go through everything very quickly. I'm not going to harp on. It's very basic in terms of what we're looking for is to give the girls some autonomy so they can choose essentially where and when they do it. There is a little bit of a guide that's laid out. However, we want to give them the autonomy to work through and do this as they see fit in order to improve their areas in where they want to improve. So, going through, starting off, we have our tier system. Now, this is basically not to say where they fall. This is how they can approach the sessions. So we've got our basic tier system here. This is just doing exactly what it says. It's the amount that needs to be done prior to starting SSA training. So we want the girls coming in with at least a baseline level of fitness. It includes 1 strength, 1 conditioning, 1 cardio, and 5 mobility sessions. These mobility sessions don't get thrown off by seeing 5, or especially when we go up to the top, seeing 7. That mobility, it's short and sharp. It's just making sure that their bodies are working well. It is school holidays, so hopefully they are being active. If they're not, then of course they can be doing this mobility in order to not let themselves fall into a position where they're coming in basically like metal rods into training. We want them moving nice and freely, lowering that overall potential for injury. We then have our intermediate range. So this is where we start to step things up. They're starting to make some progression in their strength and injury prevention, as well as a little bit of cardio endurance. So we've got 2 strength, 2 conditioning, 2 cardio, 6 mobility. And of course, we have our top tier. Now, this is for people that want to really get ahead. I believe that because it is about 6 weeks worth of training, that if they do put in here, they are going to be starting the start of their training for SSA in one of the best possible positions. So being at the least likelihood of getting injured due to a load capacity or a weakness. So what that means is they're not coming in with any sort of pre-identified weaknesses. They're coming in nice and strong, and they've got that good level of core stability, which will be worked throughout the program. And they're also quite conditioned. So both endurance, but there's also speed and agility. So that's just a very basic level of the tier system. I'm now going to show you sort of what the program looks like over a weekly basis. Now you're going to see here, of course, there's a lot of colors, and I haven't listed it out just because of space on the program in terms of what I'm delivering on. But at our top range here, we've got our basic. In the middle, we've got our intermediate. And at the bottom, we've got the top. It's a little bit back to front, but that's how it is. Now, as you can see, everything is color-coded as well. So in our basic, we've got the 1 strength, 1 conditioning, 1 cardio, and then the mobility sprinkled in between. For our intermediate, we then have a little bit more. You'll see Friday is a double training day. And then for our advanced or top, we've then got our 2-a-day sessions, pretty frequent. Now, don't get put off by these 2-a-days. They're not going to be giant sessions. The way this program has been delivered as well is it is somewhat body weight. Now, if you do have access to either bits of equipment, or you have access to a full gym, whether that's at home or a membership, that's fantastic. You can then start to incorporate other things elsewhere. However, this is done mainly at the body weight range. So that means that the ability to do more training or in terms of sessions is a little bit better. So don't get put off by that. These, especially at the start, they're not designed to be crazy. Should really be getting this done no later than 40 minutes would be some of the longest ones. These strength sessions should be able to knock out, including warm up and a big stretch cool down, should be able to knock these out in about 20 to 30 minutes max with some of them. Of course, with that, and what I always say is work to your ability. If you need to taper back slightly, do so. If you feel you got a lot more in the tank, go for it. Now, of course, this is also taking into consideration that there is nothing else taken into consideration. So, if you are doing more training outside of this, then it may be advisable to cut down in certain areas, depending on what that type of training is. And if you want to do more, you feel you can do more, you can absolutely go for it. But take that with a grain of salt. Of course, I can't take every single individual person's needs and considerations into consideration when building out this program. So this is just an overall with the assumption that nothing else is getting done outside of there. So you'll have access to all this as well, guys. This will be coming out in a Google Doc, but I'll explain that as well. So what's strength, what's conditioning, and what is cardio? So basically the way that I've built out this program, and it's really for just ease of reading and understanding sort of what is involved. Our strength sessions, as I said, somewhat body weight. If you've got stuff around the house that you can use as weights, thinking back potentially for some of those that were in lockdown, maybe did any of the COVID type workouts, you can use weights by chucking a whole bunch of canned food into backpacks, using that to do stuff, using anything around the house. So of course there is that option if you do want to add weight to certain things. Otherwise, like I said, everything can be done body weight. So with strength, we're focusing on building lean muscle. Now, I know there are, of course, always people that are worried about getting bulky. Please don't worry about that. You cannot get bulky from doing any of this, especially in 6 weeks. I've been trying to get bulky for about 10 years and I'm still not there. So don't worry, 6 weeks will not get you bulky. What we are trying to work on is just building that muscle endurance, trying to get a bit of strength in there, of course. Now, I am speaking to the advanced or top tier here now. So we are trying to build that overall muscular endurance so we can perform all of our movements, our exercises that are involved in normal training and in games. We're doing all of that and trying to decrease the overall risk of injury. That's the biggest thing. So all these movements, they have a purpose, and it's to decrease that risk of injury and improve performance. Now, our conditioning, this is basically also cardio as well. However, think about it, it's rather than just going on a continuous run, we're doing actual movements under duress. So we're looking at creating fatigue here and then being able to remain in a strong structural position. So be able to keep that form while under fatigue. This is really important, especially for state age when we're playing in this carnival type situation. We need to make sure that our bodies and our players are in strong, they're in strong positions under fatigue or duress. So making sure that when they are fatigued, they're able to maintain. We'll use an example, say someone has been playing all day, they start to get jelly legs, they're feeling quite weak in the legs. There's then a higher potential for lower back injury, lower limb, so leg, think hamstring, ACL, quad injury. And because of that lack of stability or weakness from or structural weakness, I should say, structural weakness from fatigue, also potentially for ankles as well, because of that instability. So this is what conditioning is focusing on. We're building the strength in our strength style session, and then our conditioning style session, we're trying to incorporate that strength, but under duress and fatigue. So making them move quickly, explosive movements at times, high rep, high fatigue, trying to be able to keep that structural integrity. And then we have cardio. So cardio in this broad term that I've coined here, where I've not coined it, but what I'm using it for, cardio, we've got a mix of sessions. And again, this is mainly specific to the top tier. There will be a mix of speed, agility, and endurance. Now, they will have their own specific sessions. So we're not trying to hit everything all at once. There will be your long, slow distance. So, for example, the first one will be a 20-minute run where you're moving nice and slow. So we're looking at building that overall capacity. We then also have a speed session where we've got some sprints. Now, these are typical distances that you'll be finding on the court. When you do these exercises as well, especially sprints, feel free to do them on the grass if you're worried about impact. So you can do it there if you've got the correct footwear. Otherwise, you can also do these on the courts. You can do it in the street if it's safe to do so as well. And then we have our agility. So this is looking at that change of direction. Again, something that's also very important while playing. So there is an agility session in there as well. Now, keep in mind as well, especially obviously the cardio or endurance part where we're going for that long run. That's obviously around 20 minutes to start if it is doable for the individual. These speed and agility sessions really no more than 10 minutes. They're short, sharp, go out there with intent, get it done, finished. So that's very important. Now, what I will go back to as well, if we just quickly go back, what I want to point out here is you'll see I've got the AM, noon, so around lunch, and PM. Now, guys, this is just a guide. I'd like to make that very, very clear. Of course, I'm not saying you need to work your schedule around training, not at all. Make this work for you. However, as a guide, and especially down here for the top tier, the reason I've got strength in the morning, conditioning in the afternoon is we want to focus on that strength at the start of the day or as the first session. And then we want to finish with conditioning later on the day or later. Making sure you give yourself some time between this as well. Now, I know it says mobility at noon or at lunch, whatever it might be. That can be focusing on a mobility session straight after. That can be later on at night before bed. Personally, I like to do my mobility before bed. It's always better. I have a better sleep. But making that work for you, okay? So again, this is just a guide. It's not gospel. Please, if you've got stuff on, if you have to make it work, whatever it is, do so. All right, moving on. So very quickly as well, for those that may not have been reading programs for long, we've got some important terminology and session layout. Now, again, I'm trying to keep this very time friendly, so I'll keep it brief. The first thing is bricks, and you'll see an example on the next slide as well. So bricks, when we've got 1A, 1B as an example, 2A, 2B. So bricks are the grouping of exercises. This will let you know, and it's always denoted first by the number, so what brick we're in, and then what position the exercise is in. So is it first, second, is it C, D, E, F, all the way to Z? Don't worry, we're not getting up to Z, but that's what our bricks are. So these are the grouping of exercises, and you know what exercises to do within those sets. Now, next up, we've got our sets and reps, and this is how they are always written. Sets first, reps second. So what is a set? A set is how many times we do the grouping of exercises. So in that brick, it will have a number, so how many sets? So we know we've got to do 3 sets. So 1A might be squats, and 1B might be push-ups. So the way I read this is in that first brick, I've got squats and push-ups to do. From there, I've got to do 3 sets. So I've got to do the amount of sets, so 3 lots of 10. And then we can see here, reps is how many times you do the exercise before moving on to the next one. So I need to do 10 squats, A was squats, and then I need to do 10 push-ups, and I'm going to do both of those 3 times each. So I go 10, 10, 10, 10, like that. Okay, and then our rest. Now, rest isn't listed on here because the reasoning behind that is, again, everyone is at individual levels of their own fitness. So generally speaking, we want to be resting. And again, sorry guys, I should also explain, this is in a strength session. This is what a strength session will look like because this is where most of the terminology is. So after we've finished that first set, so we've done 1A, which was our squats, 1B, which was our push-ups. We've done those 10 times each. We can then have a rest anywhere between 0 seconds. So you can just roll straight into the next set, or up to 90 seconds, so a minute 30. Now, you want to rest until you feel you're able to do it again. Not until you feel fresh, otherwise we're going to be there all day, but we want to minimize the amount of rest, but not so we're unable to complete the overall work or go to failure. Okay, so that's what it is there. Now, just in case you're a visual learner like myself, again, here we go. So in prep, we've got 1A, 1B, and then 2A, 2B. So I'll do these 2 exercises here. So 1A and B. I'm not sure if you can see the cursor on your end. We'll do 1A and 1B. We're going to do those 3 times. So I've got to do 30 seconds of Captain Morgan's, And then I need to do 20 seconds each side of a single leg wall sit. Okay, cool. So I'll do 30 there, 20 there, 30 there, 20 there. Do that 3 times. Then I'll move on to 2A and 2B. Again, go through that. Now we'll see here down in working, we've now got 3 exercises within the brick. So 1A, B, and C. And we know we need to do 3 sets of each. Then we have our individual reps moving down the next side. So we've got our air squats, a reverse lunge, and our push-ups. Or a bench press if possible. Of course, there'll be little notes sprinkled in it amongst there. Now, of course, if you've got weights next to the working there, W is denoted for if weights are available. So instead of doing air squats, if you're lucky enough to have a barbell or dumbbells at home, you might do a front rack position, so holding the dumbbells up near the shoulder. Or if you've got a barbell, then you can do a back squat or a front squat. Whatever you have access to is completely fine. So if you've also got access to a gym, you can do all of this there as well. So that is what, and as well, guys, this I believe this is the very first session that we've got on the program as well. So that's what it's going to look like. You're going to also get a Google Doc. We'll talk about that, which is coming up soon. But actually, you're probably watching this because you clicked on the link from the Google Doc as well. So you'll be able to see what it looks like. It's very simply laid out. Just kind of follow the bouncing ball. Now, with all that as well, of course, there we go. I'm ahead of myself. So where you can find everything. So there is the Google Doc. If you are watching this, you have probably already got the Google Doc. If you don't have the Google Doc, please let me know. We'll make sure we get it to you. Now, everything is on YouTube. Everything's been filmed. So every single exercise that you need to know is on my YouTube page. So you'll be able to find it there. Now, there is also a dedicated QC playlist. Now, this playlist for QC has all the important stuff. So all the mobility that you need to know is on there. But more importantly, there's also, and the reason I haven't put this all in there so it doesn't get too lost, but there's also another playlist called Exercise Library and Demonstrations. If you go there, and you're unsure, so if you're reading the program, you're unsure of an exercise that's on there that needs to be done, go to that playlist. Again, it's very easy to find whether you're on phone or laptop or whatever it is. Go find that playlist, search it in there, the exercise, it'll all be in there. They all come with a demonstration. I highly recommend just having a watch before for any exercises you are unsure of. And then if you need to make any notes, do that. What I wouldn't advise is going through the session and every single exercise having to watch when you're there ready to train. It's a very quick way to blow your session timings way out of the park. So doing a little bit of preparation beforehand is going to make sure that you have a nice, clean, smooth session. Okay. Now, if you are looking to then go to the next level, of course, I have with all of my clients, my business, I have an app where we can do personalized sessions. Now, if you're looking at making sure, so if you do have access to a gym, if you've got access to partial equipment, so you've got some stuff at home, or you just want to make sure you get that little bit more personalization around this, there is a personalized app. Now, of course, this has absolutely everything. If you are interested in finding out more about that, you can, of course, get in contact with me, or I'm going to link just, I don't know, I think the camera's in reverse, but you'll see on the screen now, there'll be a little banner, and that is a link to the app and how it is broken down. So I've done a video on everything that's involved with that. But just very quickly, basically anything you want to work on personally. So again, think of this as now you've got full access to a program which is specific to you. So if you want to work on something if you want to work on something specific, so say for example, lower body strength, core, it might be stability, so leg stability. Think about if you're constantly rolling ankles, or you're coming back from injury or sustained an injury previously. We can go through, develop a full personalized program, which is specific to you, specific around what you're able to do in terms of exercise competency and literacy, as well as working around your schedule as well. So when you are able to train. So we've got all of that. It comes with, so there's a coach's comments section. So you'll see with every exercise at the start of every session, I'll leave notes about exactly what needs to be done, what we're focusing on, what happened in the previous session. You've got all the exercises already linked there. So you'll see on this picture, you don't need to leave the app. Every single exercise you need to do is in the app. So you just click on the notes part, it'll come up. It's pulled straight from YouTube. So you can watch it there. You don't need to leave the app. So it's all there on that. And then, of course, we've got all the individual tracking. So this is, if you look at that far right picture, again, if you can't see my cursor, look at that far right picture, you'll see how many reps that will need to be listed. You'll see what weights need to be listed. Don't get thrown off by those weights. It was actually in pounds. I had to just change it over to kilos because it is an American app. However, of course, you'll be able to read it. Don't worry, there's metric system on there. It's all good. Just their pictures are imperial. So that'll all be on there. You'll be able to get the full personalized, basically like having a coach in your pocket, as my little spiel up there says. So, and all your session tracking, so you can see your progression as well. So you can do that for the full 6 weeks, roughly about what it is. You can continue, you can do less. It is $16.50 a week. So very, very affordable in terms of getting 100% personalized program just for you in your pocket, ready to go. Of course, then if you want to take it up another step, there is also strength and conditioning. So for everyone that has been working with me, and maybe I didn't do a good job of introducing myself at the start, I've been working with QC now with the girls since 2019. So I've been in the game a lot longer than that, strength and conditioning. A bit of my background, I'm also currently studying sport and exercise science. So very, very intertwined, a lot of years of experience since 2015. I've actually been in the game, been coaching. So with that, we've got obviously one-on-one. So, and again, this is basically like the app, but even more specific. So able to work with you individually or in a small group or in groups. Where we can work on technique, we can work on form, work on strength. Now, one-on-one, you can see all listed there with the pricing. That is obviously the premium tier. That also comes with a program as well. So, you might come in and see me once a week, once a fortnight, but you've got a program there as well. So you can get, that doesn't come with, that also works with the program as well. So the one-on-one, very, very personalized, making sure that we're really focusing on what those specifics are that you need to work on. Small group, a bit more affordable as well. So obviously, the more people we start to incorporate, the specificity around the individual and the intricacies, obviously a little bit harder to manage. So of course it gets cheaper. Then we also have our group training. So for those that have been doing Monday night trainings previously, you'll see that that's all how it has been. So for basically groups of 5 to 9, it's $20 a head. For greater than 10 or 10 people and greater, it is $10 a head. Now, excuse the easiest way, I could just write it there. Where it says cash, of course, if you pay cash, that's what it is there. But if you pay card, which is completely fine, there is, of course, the surcharge on what the card takes, its clip, and depending on the payment system as well. But anyway, if you do want to get into that, there is obviously personal coaching as well, very beneficial for those looking to progress themselves, looking to really take it another step further. Of course, you can get in contact with me and discuss anything as well. So email there, phone, and of course, if you want to know more, you can jump onto the website where it goes into a little bit more depth. But thank you for watching, guys. Sorry, that's taking about 25 minutes. I do apologize. Of course, this should hopefully get all the information, the basic information across for your lead up into senior state age. And of course, you'll be seeing more of me when training kicks off. For now, if you do have any questions, like I said, regarding anything, regarding the program, regarding what you're able to do, whatever it might be, please get in contact. Happy to have a chat. Probably email is best, but if you want, shoot me a text, try and give me a call. If I'm not with clients, of course, I'll be able to answer. But yes, the rest is also on the website. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And I'll be seeing you in person in the new year.